When I started this channel, I wanted to talk about phrasal verb secrets and show how these verbs actually have logic. Then I made a big video about 50 important phrasal verbs and received a comment from Valery AS. He said there are 3 definitions for take off and not just 2. Well, I saw that as an opportunity to make this video, so thank you for the comment, Valery. What if I told you there are many more definitions for take off, and they're generally related to each other? So before we start the lesson, this is very important. On and off are opposites. Phrasal verbs often use opposites to express their meanings. On can mean contact. Off can mean no contact. Let's remember that and let's go. Take off number 1. The story. Alex is wearing a suit. He's uncomfortable because he prefers loose clothes. The suit is on his body and he decides to remove it. He takes the suit off. The suit is not on his body anymore. It's off of his body. Why off? The suit was on his body. He took it off of his body. The opposite of take off in this case is put on. Put is generally the opposite of take. On is the opposite of off. Take off number 2. The story. There are planes that are at the airport, and the pilots are waiting to leave. These planes are not in the air. They're on the ground. As one starts to fly, it's not on the ground anymore. It's almost like an invisible hand takes it off of the ground and guides the plane through the air. The plane is not on the ground anymore. It's off of the ground. Why off? The plane was on the ground. Then it was off of the ground. The pilot took the plane off the ground. Opposites don't work in this case. Each phrasal verb is different. To say the plane goes back on the ground, we say the plane lands or touches down. We don't have an opposite phrasal verb with on. Touch indicates contact here. Take off number 3. The story. A new product is released. The product doesn't sell very well in the first few months. The data is near the bottom of the graph. The data is close to 0. It's near or almost on the bottom of the graph. Then the product starts to sell more. The graph starts to move up. Now the data is off of the bottom and going up every day. The product takes off. Why off? The data was near, almost on the bottom. Then it was off of the bottom because the product sold. The product took off. This logic is similar to the plane taking off the ground, except instead of a plane, it's data. We can imagine the top of the graph as the sky and the bottom as the ground. Take off number 4. The story. A woman robs a bank. She gets the money and has to escape. The police arrive, so she starts to run fast. As she runs, her feet leave the ground. She's running so fast, she's almost flying. She took off, running. There is no more contact between the woman and the bank. Additionally, her feet are leaving the ground. They're not on the ground, they're off the ground. Why off? This is more abstract, like a lot of phrasal verbs, so we have to think hard for this one. An easy way to remember this is that off in a lot of situations is the same as away. Additionally, we can also think of this as separation from the bank she robbed. There's a growing loss of contact. Take off number 5. The story. Two friends are at a restaurant and ask the waiter for the bill, and then they receive it. However, they notice that there's an error. The bill says 3 meals, but they only had 2. This error is on the bill and it needs to be removed. They ask the waiter to take those errors off of the bill. Why off? When words are written, they're on a paper. In the same way, we can say they're on a document, or in this case, a bill. There's an error, so we need the opposite to happen. The waiter should remove the error. He should take it off of the bill. Take off number 6. The story. A man is at work and waiting for his vacation. He's on his shift and can't wait to leave. Soon his shift ends and he's off of his shift. Luckily, he took off the next week to spend time at the beach. Why off? When we talk about work or time, we use the word on, as in the man is on his shift. He's working. In this way, we can use take off to suggest how we are disconnected from work or time at work. We can take off work, take off a shift, or take off time. It's all basically the same meaning to say we're not working or dedicating our time to something. To sum up, she took off her clothes before getting into the shower. Off of her body. The plane took off at 9 a.m. and left for Florida. Off of the ground. The product took off and started flying off shelves. Off of the bottom floor of the graph. The thief took off after robbing the house. Off means away, separation from the place. There was an error on the bill, so I asked the waiter to take it off. Off of the bill. The man took off a week for his vacation. Off of work, off of his shift. That's not all. there are other meanings for take off. Phrasal verbs are incredibly complicated, and I recommend studying them and memorizing them in context. That's why I have so many videos about them, which you can find on my channel. Check the descriptions of my videos for a detailed list. Thanks for watching, and thank you, channel supporters. If you found this video helpful, let me know in the comments. Please like, share, and subscribe, and see you in the next lesson.